Hello, this is Andrea Warner, co-host of Pop This. I'm here to wish all our listeners a very happy holiday season from Lisa, Andrea Gin, and myself. We also have a special edition of the podcast for you this week, fresh from our recent live taping at the Rio Theatre in Vancouver. So in case you didn't know, every year, Lisa and I have a giant argument about what is the best, worst Christmas movie of all time, and I argue in favor of Love Actually, and Lisa argues for The Holiday. Boo. This year, we decided to focus our fight around Love Actually and do a live taping at the Rio with a screening of the movie right afterward. What you're about to hear is that live taping, so keep in mind it will not sound as great as our usual podcast, which we tape right here in a cozy VPL studio. However, it is a great show. We had tons of fun, and we would like to thank our special guests, Alicia Tobin and Rachel Fox, as well as the Rio Theatre for hosting us. Happy holidays, everyone.
That was fun and enthusiastic.
That was fun and enthusiastic. I particularly like how I really wanted to make sure that the drinks were seated before I was. Because we never get to drink while we're recording this podcast.
No, we don't. We record at the library, so it's very nice to see all of you. It's real people.
Treat. Yeah.
Like we imagine we're making it for you. Like you and you and you. But we don't really know.
We don't really know. And
No.
it's so nice to see you all here. Thank you so much for coming. Just, in case you're here for just the movie and not this, and you're just like, we don't know what the hell this is, but they did an extra 45 minutes to sit and get ready for the film. We are Pop This. We are a podcast hosted by myself, Andrea Warner, and Lisa Christiansen. We are two women talking about pop culture, and our podcast is produced by Andrea Gin, and we started this in 2015, and this is going to be our 210th episode.
And one of the highlights for us in the several years we have been creating this podcast is our annual battle, Love Actually versus The Holiday. They're not actually two movies that have ever been pitted against each other except by us.
We insist.
We insist.
Yeah, I think it was actually really how we got to... I feel like we really, truly came into our understanding of each other that first Christmas when we had that fight.
Yeah, that was...
we'd only been doing the podcast for 6 weeks at that point, and that was a real mega introduction to our truest selves.
We're still here, so obviously we're not really judging too badly.
Mostly the podcast is us modeling how friends can fight and still be friends.
Yes. I think we've only ever had two really bad fights, and it wasn't even this one, so...
No, it wasn't even this one.
But yeah, we have continued to argue about this every year. We put the two movies together, and I feel like every year I get a little bit closer to convincing you that this is not worth your time.
And yet, every year, the swell of the music, the dancing Hugh Grant, I feel myself just sort of my love. Lisa, that's not good for audio. No.
your best judgment, all of your feminism, all of who you are, compromise once a year.
I love returning to a time when I hated myself and my gender.
Oh, well, this is the movie for you. This is
the movie for me that does that. This is our 5th year of fighting about this film, and we decided to do it live here at the Rio, and the Rio welcomed us to do that, and it's so great. We're so thankful to them, and we've invited a couple of guests.
Yes, we have. So on team, what the hell kind of movie is this? We have joining me is Alicia Tobin. Alicia is a comedian and writer who is the co-host of 2 popular podcasts, Retail Nightmare and Super Sick Podcast, and the creator of Alicia Tobin's Come Draw With Me, a live, entirely improvised comedy show that has been featured in a number of comedy festivals. She is also the author of a brand new book called So You're a Little Sad, So What? Most importantly, she absolutely hates Love Actually, and that's why I love Alicia.
Hi, everybody. I don't like it anymore.
I like this journey that you've been on, though, and I'm excited to get into that.
Sure.
However, I need a teammate as well. And so on my team, I'm super thrilled to welcome the Rio's senior programmer, Rachel Fox. Woo! Rachel, we can thank you for so much and all of the excellent programming here at the Rio. You've been the senior programmer since 2012. She studied film and television at UBC and BCIT, and over the years has written about music and film for numerous blogs, as well as the Georgia Straight and Bitch magazine, and you love Love Actually.
I saw this in the theater.
So did I!
At the Fifth Avenue, and I gotta tell you, I've loved it ever since.
Me too.
High five.
I saw this twice in the theater when it came out, and I'm not even apologizing for it.
No need.
Yeah, there's no need to apologize for your terrible taste.
Yeah, that's all right. We're all friends here until like another 45 minutes anyway. And this is a live podcast taping, so we do encourage you to make noise during the recording so people who listen to this after know it's live. And especially when you share Alicia and I's thoughts, definitely let that be known.
Let's test some levels. So by show of applause, who is here because they love Love Actually? Super excited, thank you.
Well, why would anyone who doesn't like it come to see it again?
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I know we're great, but
okay, can I ask a question? How many of you love it but feel deeply strange and ambivalent about so many of the things that happen in this movie?
And I'm gonna ask my regular question too. Has anyone not seen the film?
Welcome. I'm
Interesting.
hoping you just
What
really
an experience for you.
This is going to be a wild ride for you.
Spoiler alert.
So good, yeah. So there will be spoilers. If you have not seen this film, I'm so sorry. We are going to play a few scenes. We're going to talk about this quite in depth. I am going to give you just a little summary from the Rio program guide. Love Actually is a holiday staple directed by Richard Curtis that's achieved a kind of cult status since its release in 2003. The cast is unbelievable. Hugh Grant, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, R.I.P., Liam Neeson, Keira Knightley, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Colin Firth and Laura Linney. This film is a series of 9 interconnected stories, examining the complexities of love and, frankly, trauma in the holiday season.
Not just the trauma you get after you watch this movie.
Look, I love deep trauma, and this is what I show up for Love Actually. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. So
now it is Love Actually is considered one of the most successful rom-coms of all time. It manages to stand apart from so many other titles of its ilk because it explores, this is not my words by the way, emotional connectivity on a myriad of levels, not just romance, but platonic love, the love between parents and their children, the love between siblings, etc. All the stellar performances and laugh out loud moments in a song. I'm going to make it really bad when I read this story. And
it's all a deep level of sarcasm. It's okay. You can just skip to
soundtrack.
You can just skip ahead. It's
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of storylines, lots of weird things going on.
They've already bought their ticket to the screening after, so we don't have to sell them on it.
A married man,
I love it.
Tempted,
and I'm so excited to watch it with you after.
By his attractive new secretary.
No.
Widowed, single dad, trying to. I don't know. I don't even want to read this. Okay, there we go.
No,
you've seen it. You know.
You've totally seen it, and you totally know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for that one person that hadn't seen it, maybe you should have kept reading.
Sorry for them.
Sorry. Yeah, we apologize.
But they got most of it. So. Rachel, based on this description, we don't have to guess which side of the debate you are, and you've already told us, but why do you love this movie?
Well, I think there's a few different elements for me. Number one, I think because I had a really good experience when I saw it in the theater. I think it was something I went to not really knowing much about it, and I feel like the whole audience, we were all so charmed, and I really make that association in my mind. Secondly, I like the fact that not all of the stories, they all have to do with love, but they're not all about romantic love, which I really appreciate in the film. And it's not all necessarily happy, which was something that always kind of resonated with me. There was a little sort of up sort of and down and sort of sad and melancholy. And also, I mean, Hugh Grant's hair. I mean, it's foppish.
It is foppish and
Foppish.
it's beautiful.
It's great. So
There's so foppish in many other films we could discuss.
Did you?
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
apparently a 6-minute like tape combination of all of his stuttering in Notting Hill or something.
And
Anyway,
the blinking, don't forget the blinking.
I like it. Look, I think strong blinking is a great acting choice.
Wow.
Alicia, can you talk about why you hate it?
I didn't always hate it. I loved it when it came out. In 2003, it's a post 9/11 world, which, of course, for the rest of the world, 9/11 has happened many times for them in different ways. But it was it felt very inspiring and meaningful at the time. And then I would watch it every holiday and kind of feel the same way, cry at the same moments. I love the actors. There's some great gags. But then things started to kind of chip away at the veneer, like the body shaming, the homophobia, the transphobia, the poopiness towards women. And I wasn't able to see it the same way anymore. It was ruined. And also the necklace that he buys is so disgusting. And there's other things where I'm like, give me a break.
I mean, it was 2003.
No, that necklace was never nice.
We just found that necklace.
Never nice.
We just found this necklace on Etsy.
Yeah.
And it is selling.
It sells.
Ooh, I don't know who's
available.
buying it and the story you tell without. Remember when the guy cheated on his wife and he gave her this
Honestly,
necklace?
can you imagine how romantic it would be
No,
to get the
I
mistress
haven't.
necklace?
Yeah.
The mistress necklace from Love Actually.
Yeah.
What a beautiful prize.
I make good choices.
Lisa, you and I have talked a lot about it, but just quickly, shall we recap why we both love it and hate it?
Sure.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Well, I'm going to have to echo an awful lot of things Alicia said. I don't remember. I remember seeing it in Fifth Avenue as well with a friend, and I thought that would be great. And then I just realized that it's Christmas, for gosh sakes. This movie did not put me in the Christmas spirit. This movie made me very sad. And I don't remember liking it at all. I kept thinking, wow, Colin Firth, you're on a rebound from your wife cheating on you with your brother. Like, ease up. Don't go to Portugal and fall in love with your maid who doesn't even speak English. That's one of the romantic storylines. Just one in this movie.
Also, get a laptop.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
But he's the kind of guy who reads Wallace and tells every woman how she has to read Wallace. That's a typewriter guy.
Yeah, I guess.
That's exactly what he's there for.
He's like an Oxon kind of Cambridge-y typewriter dude, right?
Well, I guess
okay.
so.
I mean, it's not great. His sweater is also not great. But there's still something kind of weirdly charming about Colin Firth reacting to getting eels in his pants in the water.
It's not enough.
Not enough. All right. Anyway, so what I love about the movie is the sadness and the grief. Christmas for me, all grief and all romance, and the combination of those two things is odd but stirring. I really have always felt that Love Actually, perhaps unfairly and accidentally, really makes space for how Christmas can suck for so many people, but how there is sort of this, there's this sort of, and even if it's a Hollywood magic to it, there are these moments of respite and these connections that we can make with people. And yes, we do a lot of bad things to each other and we aren't always good to each other, but overwhelmingly, I feel I know.
What movie did you see?
Love
What did we-
actually matters to people,
this-
and this is
yeah.
what this movie does for me.
Actually, this is the problem I have with the movie, is a lot of the story is you kind of make it up yourself. They don't actually give it to us. So I think we kind of superimpose our feelings towards the characters
100%.
and our Christmas grief or our loss
Yep.
In other ways. But I'm not bad to people all the time. And I wouldn't do the things that a lot of people are doing in this movie. And I realized that I was kind of making up a story, and also it tells me a story that I was told a lot as a woman about where my worth is, what romance is like, what it would be like if I was an accomplished mother. It's not good. It's not. Maybe it is realistic too, But it's pretty dark.
Oh, it's super dark, and I think this is the darkness.
Also, what I
is
don't want
like.
in my rom-coms is realism.
I like realism in my rom-coms.
Not me. No,
I do.
that's not a rom-com. That's called a drama.
I mean, rom-com was a hard word for me to wrap my brain around ever. I only
It's
came
short
to it.
for romantic comedy.
Thank you. Thank you. See, I didn't finish college, so that's actually why, that's what happens. No, I used to really despise, and again, I've written a lot about sort of unpacking my own internalized misogyny, but I used to despise romantic comedies a lot, and it just didn't seem, it just never felt like escapism, because I wasn't watching people.
But watching women get sexually harassed in this movie.
Well, and honestly, that felt real to me. 2003, that felt very real, and that's how we all cope with it, is just pretending it doesn't happen, or waiting for some kind of other route to reveal itself so that we can sort of pivot into the better of a bad situation, which is a bleak understanding of Love Actually, but that's what I love about it.
The more you talk,
love rationalization.
the more Andrea discusses how much she likes the movie, the more it sounds like she doesn't like the movie.
But it makes you feel good.
So
That's its genius. Is that despite the melancholia, you still are left with a feeling of, ultimate a pleasure, a joy, a joyfulness. Yeah.
I do feel a joyfulness leaving the film.
And I think maybe it's because it does attack those feelings of melancholy, those feelings of sadness, and yet people sort of move on from it, right?
Well, they move through it.
They move through it, right? Yeah. And I think that's an important thing. I think it's fair to say that in the film, there are some kind of happy endings and some not so happy endings, which is what I like about it.
Well, the fact that the movie opens with both a wedding and a funeral on the same afternoon with a bunch of people going to the same event.
It's a weird timeline,
The timeline
really
of this movie is
some people
wild.
are at work and some people are at the wedding.
Yes.
Do they not have weddings on weekends here? Or?
I don't know
How does that work in
it.
England?
And also the guy was catering the wedding reception, but also visiting his friend on the porn site, the porn.
And also delivering sandwiches to the office.
Yeah.
He really hustled. That's the only good thing about Colin in that whole film, is that he worked pretty hard.
So he just went from different venue to harass women.
Yeah, I mean,
harass this, the secretary. Oh, there's my future wife. That's fun. I think, that's a good opening line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin's one of my least favorite characters.
Well, and we'd like to start there.
Yes,
Sure,
we do
yeah.
have some clips. We are going to illustrate our points with the actual film.
Yeah. So spoiler alert to the person that hasn't seen it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for everything. I mean, I'm just sorry.
All right, so we are going to play our first clip. And Alicia, do you want to tell us a bit why you chose this one as the most, or one of the clips you don't like?
Well, you really have an illustrated way of communicating your displeasure with it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, hang on. I went to the dollar store today. It was so exciting. The dollar store feels like a place where anything is possible, unlike this movie.
So, Lisa, can you narrate this for the listeners at home?
Holding up signs, as in Love Actually, a scene that has been, copied many, many, many times. Colin, you are an unfuckable dirtbag. Yeah, that kind of really gets to the point of it.
So, can we play the clip, please?
Perfect.
So Colin is finally where he wants to be, right?
Yeah, with loose American women.
Colin thinks that he can only get laid in America. So, I mean, unfortunately, America proves him right.
Why is she wearing a parka?
In the bar, it's so many questions.
Oh, a fur coat.
Fur coat, yeah.
It's known that model scouts go to Milwaukee. So it's
Look, there are a lot of
recognized,
attractive young white women in Milwaukee. That's just what...
If it's so cold, why aren't they zipped up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think it's because Richard Curtis wants to see their cleavage.
I do too.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
This winter fashion never really took off either.
I mean, I do like their outfits.
You know, if they just tuned into Coronation Street, which
honestly-
has been on since 1966.
I know. But Table Same kind of gets me every time. I always giggle a little bit. Like,
There's-
I can't help it.
There's tons of funny lines in this movie. I won't ever argue that. January Jones is so funny in this scene. I think that she's like one of my favorite actresses from Mad Men.
She's so good on Mad Men.
She's so good, and she's great here.
This
What
is
I
the
like
movie,
to think
like-
about this scene is that Colin actually dies in that plane. That's what I've decided about this scene because it makes no
Oh,
sense.
so this is his heaven.
Yeah, it's like, or
yeah.
like, it's kind of like,
That makes sense.
what was that? Lost. This is his Lost. And he's like, I never saw it, but I heard they were in purgatory. This is his purgatory. It's not real. This is impossible that Colin could. It ends in a fivesome with all of these beautiful women who are all portrayed as very stupid, which of course is.
Sexy and stupid.
I mean,
Well,
Which is-
I wish.
and they're American to the Brits, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's that. But I mean, look, you've 9 storylines really in the film. This is, I think we
The
can agree, it
weakest.
is by far the
The
weakest.
weakest, yeah.
And
Do other movies, do you argue the same thing? Like there's like a big chunk of it that's stupid, but I still like the whole movie?
Yes.
well, it's a ninth.
Yeah,
It's a ninth
it's
of
a
it.
ninth of the film.
Okay.
Of it that's stupid.
I honestly forget this whole storyline exists every year. Like every year, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess this is the point where I black out for like a good, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, and particularly because I do find Colin super gross. Like, there's nothing really good there. I never have found it to be an attractive quality when a man feels he's entitled to like a woman's anatomy. That's just not my scene. Who knew?
Just a newsflash: the entire film is that same message. too.
Oh,
Yeah, and very degrees.
oh, so big.
Sorry.
No,
Wow.
that's totally true. But like this particular sequence is so egregious that I just forget that it exists.
But isn't really this also sequence is really kind of and his whole storyline, his whole character, is kind of a commentary on a certain kind of love, which perhaps is fabricated. It doesn't exist. Like that's
So you
what
think he's dead too.
No, I don't think he's dead, but I think that like, you know, people have, you know, romantic notions of like what they want to find, like often from movies, from rom-coms. And his character, he doesn't really get it. So it's like I feel like it's kind of an anti-commentary.
I would like a
It's contrast
documentary
thing.
about what happened to Milwaukee after this movie came out.
Milwaukee
And the
was
sudden
just this
surge
flood
of British
Yeah.
loser boys just flocking to Milwaukee to see what can happen.
Honestly,
at the bars.
I would watch that movie too, and it would only deepen my appreciation for Love Actually.
So take that.
I mean, yeah,
Whose
sure.
music we also hear in the film.
We do. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Take that.
well
That's
done.
good. So Lisa and I think all of us actually, we love this next scene and hate it.
Okay.
Love it and
Oh.
hate it. Calm down. It's okay. I love this scene so much. Rachel, you also love this
I
scene.
did. Yes.
Alicia and Lisa despise this scene. And again, not a commentary. Like the acting is beautiful. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
But this is when Emma Thompson receives the Joni Mitchell CD from her husband. So let's play that clip.
Also known as the feel-good part of the movie.
This is so heartbreaking and it's so perfect.
But so true.
CD. Joni Mitchell, wow.
To continue your emotional education.
Yes. Goodness. That's great.
My brilliant wife.
Ah, yes. Actually, do you mind if I just absent myself for a second? All that ice cream.
Diarrhea.
Oh my God, it's so heartbreaking.
I'll be back in a minute.
Emma Thompson is so beautiful and so wonderful in this.
This is important, this scene now.
Yeah.
So she had been expecting the necklace in case you didn't know.
She found it earlier.
And now we see the family he doesn't care about at all, so he can give his secretary a necklace.
I was so naive when I watched this that a couple years ago when I read an interview with Richard Curtis that said, for sure, Harry and the secretary had a sexual relationship, I was devastated anew. Like, second devastation. Devastated when I just thought he gave her a necklace. And then to find out, no, also they had intercourse, apparently. That really extra blew my mind. I was not a child when this movie came out. I was probably 20.
Were you watching the same movie?
20,
Come on.
24?
But it's so relatable. But she's just such a fantastic actress. Like, she conveys it all.
Yes.
It's all right here.
This is why I love this movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm happy to see this in another movie, not a Christmas rom-com.
But I don't think a Christmas rom-com has to be one thing.
Yeah.
You guys aren't good at this argument.
Year 5.
It's really is every time I see this film, which I've probably seen this film, I'd say at least 30 times, I cry every time.
Me too.
It's such a powerful message and such powerful acting.
And you know what?
And it is very real.
Until you had emailed me and talked about how it juxtaposes her, the Emma Thompson character's outfit, all like, you know, beige and baggy and stuff, with the stripped down secretary. I had never even thought about that in terms of sort of the juxtaposition. I had really was just concentrating on, like, I knew that she was sort of like lovingly shot, like the secretary, versus Emma Thompson's character, but I hadn't even really thought about like the body shaming aspect of that.
There's a lot of shame.
But I think for me, one thing about like this scene and the time in my life when I saw it was I knew someone who was having an affair. Of my friend who I saw it with, we were talking about this person's wife and what if she were to find out. And so it was kind of part of our conversation at the time. And for me, this scene and what I think why it gets me in the feels is because her face is all about that realization of deceit.
Yeah.
And deceit is the worst. And I might just say that kind of Christmas is a very deceptive time of the year. Yeah, which I think, well, I'm a Jew, so it's deceptive, for sure, on many levels, on many levels. But I feel like this scene really captures that, right? Like that. So much of Christmas to me is like this forced, sentimental, nostalgic burden that is hoisted upon people like Jews. And I think at some point, like, we enjoy it, right? Because it does, maybe we have to go through it. We go through Christmas every year, and then when it's over, we're like, oh, okay, I feel a little something. But I don't know, for me, that scene is I think, one of her best moments maybe on film.
I agree.
I would agree. I think it's...
Well, I'm not going to take away from Emma.
Yeah.
Again, I would just say that I like forced nostalgia and bad food and all of that stuff at Christmas. That's what I really enjoy. And so that is why when I watch this movie, I'm not getting any of that. I don't need reality. What the heck? I got reality all year.
Right.
I do not need it on my Christmas.
I guess it's the yin and the yang, right? Like that's what for me is it's that combination. It's like kettle corn. It's a little salty, a little sweet, but all delicious, and that's what that movie is.
We were just talking about Chicago.
Yeah. But I also think my thoughts have translated right into Netflix understanding that you can make 500 Christmas movies, and there are people who will watch them because they don't actually want any of that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I understand why people don't want it. I'm grateful that this exists because this is what I want from a Christmas movie. Sadly.
Would you edit it down? Like, could you edit, if you edited the movie down though, because you would like to take the Billy Bob Thornton sexually harassing.
I wanted to stay in the film because I think it makes him look. I think it makes him look bad, and I think it makes Hugh Grant look bad, and I think that's a conversation that like it's important to have. Natalie's character doesn't get much of a chance to understand why her boss sexually harassing her is a bad thing, or why the American president sexually harassing her is a bad thing. But I remember watching that at the time and feeling like somehow it was powerful because it was showing. I felt like it was a sort of commentary on Bill Clinton and how charming men get away with really terrible behavior, which is a lot of this movie. A lot of this movie is charming men getting away with terrible behavior. And I I want to watch that at Christmas.
You can't keep saying that.
It's on the news
Santa
every
is a
night
charming
for you.
man getting away with some
Every-
terrible behavior. He has harsh judgments.
They don't even get any. There's no repercussions to it. They just sail off.
There's no
Also,
repercussions
like,
for
exactly.
Santa either.
It's like the woman, his love interest,
Natalie
Hugh Grant. She is 20 years younger than he is.
Mm-hmm.
So she is a very young woman who has been almost, it looks like, sexually assaulted in that scene,
Mhm.
who later in the movie apologizes because somebody sexually assaulted her.
Oh, it's horrifying, but I feel it's real, especially from 2003.
I do too. I think that's that play along that all the characters do. I mean, we as the audience, like when you saw it in 2003, you knew something was up. You knew all of these things, like they were sort of spoken but unspoken. That's why it's in the film. Like we as the audience know that of the wrongness of it. We're kind of in on the deception in that way, right? Like
I don't want to be in
that's,
on that.
well, we don't want to.
I don't want anything to do with that.
People, we play along. Well, it's like Santa Claus, right? We play along with that too.
I never believed in Santa.
Well, but
Whoa!
really?
I did.
Oh my gosh,
It
cool.
just never came up. My parents just didn't bother to tell us anything.
Was it like the harsh Danish upbringing?
It probably was. Here you go, some presents, open them, it's from us. Whatever.
So we have to include at least one clip, I think, that is genuinely joyous. Maybe no one else will feel it's joyous except you and me.
Sure.
But one of my favorite moments in the movie is when Hugh Grant goes door to door looking for Natalie. And I know it's just like this. I think one of the other things I like about this movie, it has weirdness in it. This is one of the things that I liked about Last Christmas. Maybe this is British people, I don't know. But they're like these weird moments of like, just how is this even in this film? Where the Prime Minister is going door to door, like looking for his hookup. And I mean, again, like trolling for love on Christmas Eve is cool. When you're the Prime Minister, there's probably other ways to go about it. But at least he's not like necessarily like deploying like his version of the Secret Service. Like he's just got one guy out on the road with him. And so I like us to watch this clip if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Hello.
These children are amazing.
No.
Please, sir, please. Please.
Oh, no. Is it cool?
Please.
Alright. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round and he went riding on the moonlight.
Like I feel like the actor playing the driver didn't tell Hugh Grant that he had an amazing voice, and that like somehow that surprised him in the moment. It delights me.
You're not what I think you are you?
Can I you too?
So he's having a friendly conversation with the man who just destroyed his sister's marriage.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I like.
That's more fun, everyone.
That's what I like about this movie.
It's a tiny little island,
It's
really.
a tangled, tiny island.
That's all.
Tiny, tangled island. There's something so joyful about that particular scene. It's brief, it's small. Again, everything's divided into nights. But there are some like good music moments throughout this movie. Like even when the terrible man with the signs, who's very attractive and is hitting on the child bride. Someone recently pointed out on Twitter today that the Liam Neeson's son is only 5 years younger than Keira Knightley in the film. So put your brain around that. That's fun. But anyways, when he goes and like after she goes to the studio and realizes that he's in love with her because he's shot this like beautiful but stalker-esque movie recording of her marriage.
Stalker-esque.
It's very beautifully shot though. Keira Knightley looks wonderful.
If you put some
Keira
Nine
Knightley
Inch
looks
Nails
wonderful
music
all
with
the
that
time.
though, you would be for sure thinking you were watching a horror
100%.
movie.
She's
But
not
it's
in
like,
frame a lot of the time, and it's not in focus. It's
No,
not
I know.
beautifully shot.
I thought it was beautifully shot. It was
Because
arty.
you love this movie despite it being terrible.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
It's bringing me great joy.
But so I just sort of had a vision, like on some level, if you received a tape like that, of like how would you feel?
I'd be like, are you gonna eat my toes? But I would also be like, I mean, I
Kinda
guess at least you are nicely loving me from afar and not interrupting my marriage to your best friend. But that's not the point. The point that I'm getting at is that when he has his angry walk around in his sweater with Dido's song playing, I very much enjoy that. That's amazing. That's a great scene that actually gave me a lot more feelings about Dido's song.
He's
at the
wearing
time.
some real bootcut jeans just for.
That's the thing. I love a bootcut jean. I love a strong sweater. He zips it up.
He's
with
got
this,
a
like,
real long torso. From one person with a long torso to another person with a long torso. They
Also
got
have a
that
long torso. So
Yeah.
maybe that's part of it.
Above.
Above.
Sorry,
There we go.
Rachel.
It's fine. We have long torsos. We didn't touch her at all. There's something about, and I think Hugh Grant has a lot of good reactions in this film.
Yeah.
That
You're really trying here.
Yeah.
I'm not
Hugh
trying.
Grant
I'm
has
telling
some
you
good
what-
reactions.
That was so charming.
That's all he has. That's all Hugh Grant is.
I'm fine
Is-
if Hugh Grant is just a collection of expressions.
Always looking stunned.
That's fine.
Always-
And hair.
And hair.
Hair.
Motion.
I don't require much more in a man
What do you
than
think
good
about his-
expressions and nice hair. Hello, Carlos. In the first row, my husband.
Wow, I had no idea I was so much deeper for wanting a little bit more.
Quick question.
Yeah,
What do you think of the dancing scene at the beginning
the dancing scene at the beginning.
when he dances to?
Oh, like when he becomes prime minister?
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Which part?
The
The
when
lack
he's
of
going,
rhythm.
when he's going down, when he's
going down.
downward, like down the staircase. I like that. And I also like it when he does the shimmy side to side.
Yeah.
I think it's more enjoyable, I'm going to say, than the risky business dance sequence.
Do you?
Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
come
Thank you.
on, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Standards.
Tom Cruise's iconic risky business.
Does anyone know if they had purchased the music before they filmed that scene?
I was
I've always
kind of,
wondred
I was
that.
kind of
You think he's
always
dancing to a
seems
different song?
A little bit off.
I just think that's Hugh Grant.
But same in the Office scene when you see it, the way people are dancing, they put the music in after, and it's really funny because people are like, it doesn't go with the music. It's great. I do have some parts of this movie that I really love,
Yes, please.
and his name is Rodrigo. And
Yeah,
it delighted me very much. that
he's
he said
flawless.
this year. He's a great actor too, and he's in Westworld, and it's bonkers. Like
Yeah.
he's a great actor, but he's kind of like a Brazilian Keanu Reeves. Like you just want to see more of him, and you see a lot of him in this movie, and it's a bit crazy. 'cause he
Also
looks like
in
an eyeglass
Westworld,
model.
there's a lot of him too.
Yeah, I mean he's extremely attractive. Everyone in this movie is very attractive.
So again, let's just go back though. This is like the Richard Curtis fantasy movie. So Alan Rickman's secretary goes for Alan and not that guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're working in the same office,
Yeah.
and her sights are set on Alan Rickman.
Instead
So
of this
are
man that's
mine.
just like you can get pregnant
Okay.
by looking at him.
Honestly, I think Alan Rickman is incredibly sexy.
You
Rest
got
in peace.
eyeglass model there, and you'd be going for Rickman.
I would. The other guy's too pretty. I want something
Well,
a little grizzled.
I'd
and the
like
voice.
something with
You
a
can't get away
smaller
from the
penis.
voice.
Alan Rickman's voice.
Yeah, he's
Alan Rickman's
reading.
voice
yeah.
is amazing.
I feel bad for
Yeah, but
you.
in the Love Actually universe, nobody knows that he's like a super cool actor that's in Die Hard and like Harry Potter.
He's a dad
He's just
that
a
has
slappy guy
hair
running a-
gloves and like
whatever.
But he's the boss, and that's what she's really
I
after.
feel she might be into that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we don't.
That's
get a
why
lot
he
of
gets her the necklace. He doesn't like my impression of their relationship was that he almost felt compelled, like nudged by the universe to get involved with this woman. He didn't really want to.
he felt nudged
That
to
was
put
that was
his
my
penis
my
inside of her.
my feeling for it was kind of like he was sort of like
This
it was
is-
like I'm supposed to do this with my secretary.
You guys have made up a whole bunch of storylines.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
aren't
Well, that's
there.
what you said. It's,
No,
it's a movie that everyone fills
I
in.
do think that is like a really like smart, astute comment. Is like I mean, not that none of the other comments have been astute, but I just think like that particular that the movie does have so many holes that allows us to sort of like put our own stories on top of them and like find our moments of connection and our moments of like disconnection. But like the fact that like the power dynamics of their relationship, wherein like obviously he's her boss and that's not cool, but that she is the like aggressor as it were, and like it's like there's a complicated weird like sub dom thing going on and all
That's
that.
You
true.
really are working this again.
I'm
yeah,
not
like,
working it. I have
there's-
spent 20 years thinking about this movie, and the last 5 fighting about it with
Yes,
you.
I know.
This is
I know.
deeper and deeper inside the Love Actually nexus.
So it's not possible that she could do a little therapy and find out she doesn't have very good boundaries in her life?
When she's 30, maybe, but right now
Okay.
she's 23, and she's like, I want to do that boss.
Like, I mean, did you just see how excited? I mean, she was kind of unusually excited that the prime minister came to her door.
100%. She was like, yes, she did.
Yeah,
want to
she's like,
She
hello,
answers. She
Prime-
answers the
she's
door
like,
nearly
"Yes, Prime
naked.
Minister."
She's a
Exactly,
very
exactly.
excitable person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Like whoever is at the door, I may want to have sex with. So
honestly,
I should.
if you could answer the door with that kind of excitement all the time, wouldn't you?
We just
No.
saw her up in a room with only like she was just wearing like panties. Did she answer the door that way, or
Yes.
did she get
Yeah. In the necklace, too.
In the necklace,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I feel like she might have some things to discuss with a professional.
Again,
You know, I
early
just-
20s, like that's just
Also, like the
Okay.
women are vilified in this movie.
100%. Richard Curtis hates women. I know this, but I still so these
But
things
you
exist
still
in
love
parallel
it.
for me. Like I'm like
Yeah.
Richard Curtis hates women, and I love this movie, and this is how I spend my time reconciling those two things. But if I didn't love things made by people who hate me, I would have so little in the world, and that is my world as both a
I
woman and a
understand.
fat woman, and that's
Yeah.
like that happens all the time. Like there are a bunch of people who create stuff that like it shouldn't resonate, but they manage to like find some inkling of like even if they're manifesting or like manipulating or like completely inventing the emotion, they nail it in some way that I can come to it or it can come to me or whatever, and like it somehow works.
That's like the biggest bummer.
Wow, yeah. I mean, isn't it just possible, this happens to all of us, that we see something at a particularly good time and we enjoy it, and then later on new facts come to us and we just refuse to accept the new information.
I mean,
And when people remind you of things, you like you're not doing this right now, but kind of. You just put your fingers right in your ears and you start screaming really, really, really loud.
But so I sort of see both sides of this, but I think for us, if I may,
Please.
we've been imprinted.
Jesus,
We've been,
yeah.
speaking of
Yeah.
Twilight.
Exactly.
imprinted.
I
Of
forced
course.
that. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I've
Yeah.
been imprinted to a certain extent, but like there are a lot of things that I watched when I was younger that I love that I like now fully boycott. Like I'm just like done with. Like I have no problem cutting some pretty toxic stuff out of my life, but I guess I don't find this toxic enough.
You haven't quite
to-
got to the point where you have to admit it because you
No,
just
I don't want-
to love it.
No, because I want to.
And it's not good for
it
you.
speaks to the
It's
truth
taking you down.
that grief and Christmas are inextricably linked for me, and that's what my
Yeah,
Christmas
But
experience
then I
is.
got you to
and
watch
that's okay.
It's a Wonderful Life. And
I
you-
hated it.
See now, come on.
This
there couldn't be a
Andrea,
movie
like,
that is
what?
more
So
about the joy
terrible.
and the anger.
It's a Wonderful Life is terrible and it's a lie, and everyone has been brainwashed for years.
I don't know where to sit on the stage anymore. That's a throw
If you
down.
can make the justification that Love Actually explores that darkness and the lightness of Christmas, how you could miss it and It's a Wonderful Life is kind of
I
surprising.
didn't miss it. I was just like, nope. I saw it and I was like, nope, not gonna do this. It's terrible. We thought about it last year.
I know.
You can listen to that episode
Yeah.
online.
Because you
Pop
made
this.
me watch it, the whatever that was. What did you make me watch? Meet Me in St.
Meet me in St. Louis.
Okay.
I was gonna say while I'm here, if anyone hasn't seen It's a Wonderful Life, we are screening it here at the Rio.
Like, go see it.
Yeah,
Andrea
go
Warner
see
will
it.
not
No,
be here.
Yeah, no, Andrea won't be here, but I love It's a Wonderful
I'm
Life
willing to
for,
watch
for
it a
many of
second
the same
time.
reasons.
You know, all of the sadness feels real to me.
Yes.
And in Love Actually, it's all fake.
George Bailey can suck a candy cane.
Wow.
He can go jump in the
Wow,
pool.
George Bailey.
Jump in the pool, George Bailey. That's how I feel.
Well,
Yes,
Angel
you're right.
just
Florence
lost its
many
wings
times.
now. So
We have come to our conclusion. We
as far apart as usual.
as far apart as usual. We've covered no distance
No.
in this particular thing.
I have a question though. Do you feel that any of your feelings towards Love Actually have been sort of amplified or validated by Lindy West's essay, which I feel really really it became its own thing and,
Yeah.
and a talking point for this film that I don't think people such as yourself spoke publicly about any.
No, it's
any,
true.
it was they kept
Because
it
whenever
in
I tried to
private.
speak publicly, I would get that. It's the best movie of all time. What's wrong with you? It's so fun. And then you'd be like, oh, all right. I guess.
So like but when
There's been a lot of revisionist
Right.
thinking now, and
Right.
maybe I don't know if Lindy's was the first. But
I feel like it made
there's
a
been
major
a
impact.
lot.
It made a major impact. Like
It
was
did make a
definitely- yeah.
major impact, and I think she did God's work there.
See, I guess for me, I'm on the other side of the table. Like, I'm actually able, like you were saying, for you sort of divorce things or get rid of things in your mind when other things come to light. And I'm totally not that person at all.
Mhm.
There's been a couple things where I'm like, ugh. But for the most part, I have the balance because I just see it as like art history, right? Like, there's so many things in the world. I can't, drop all of them. And if it's something that really I feel queasy, then I'm naturally not inclined for it. But for the most part, I can still embrace things that I have problems with. So,
I
like-
just don't. I agree, but I just don't see why I would need to watch it again ever.
And yet
Ever.
every year
You make me watch it.
every year I make you watch it.
Yeah, you do, and I don't, and I
But
still
maybe-
love you, but it's getting,
But-
we might end up with a new storyline in there.
but maybe what's been missing, honestly, is just seeing it, and I'm not shilling, but seeing it with people on the big screen in a theater. Because I think, like I was
But
saying,
I'll judge them all and not like them when they
But-
laugh, so
no,
I don't
but-
want
but
that to
heads
happen.
up, everyone in
what
this
I mean
audience.
is I think this is a really great example of a communal film. Like, it's one of this is like the kind of film like classics. We show them here all the time. And I think there's something really special about watching something that you've seen, that you can anticipate with other people that are in the same boat. So
Yeah,
I think you
could,
may
I've
may
only
have
ever seen this movie by myself, feeling very sad because it's the holidays. I highly recommend it. I think it's okay to
I
have
can see
things
it in the
you can't
theater, yeah.
reconcile and you just like them. Like,
yeah.
if there's a jar of Nutella around, I'm gonna eat it, even though I know they've been very bad for orangutans. Can't help myself.
Is that something
And
I
I
didn't know?
don't eat that. But
Oh no! Happy Christmas.
Nutella and orangutan?
and we all get to make those choices about what we're consuming. And I think really what I ask when people watch this movie, when straight men watch this movie, to just pay attention to how men are treating women in the movie. And if
Also, it could be used in sort of like therapy for men.
maybe it's
Maybe
just
then
very,
I would advocate for this film.
very interesting and very sad. And there's
Yeah, I don't think like people
Yeah.
should watch this and be like, this is what I aim for. We should be like, we're watching this as a time capsule, and I hope we've come a long way. Based on audience poll,
Sure.
after listening to this podcast, who still loves Love Actually?
that's fair.
What about people who now hate it?
Whoa.
Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen.
Wow, we've only deepened
Yeah.
our appreciation. I love you all. But has anyone changed their minds?
No one.
No one.
Wow.
This
well,
is
they
great.
did come for a screening of Love Actually.
Again,
so-
you have a ticket to see it afterwards.
Understood.
And honestly, the person who had never seen it, like, I would love to talk to you at intermission. So stick around. There's a brief intermission. We are so thrilled that you came out today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you, Alicia and Rachel. Hope it wasn't too uncomfortable. We're so
We're
familiar
still friends.
with this conversation, and we still love each other very much.
Very sweet.
So, Merry Christmas to both of you. And
Wow, you
Right.
said that with your teeth.
yeah, hope you don't get like sexually harassed by your boss. So, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll bear that in mind for Corrine, who owns the Rio.
I was just thinking, like, as someone,
Yeah.
you work at the Rio. Thank you
Yeah.
so much to the Rio. Pop This is produced by Andrea Gin, and this episode will be released in a couple of weeks. So you have time to find us and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And thanks so much to the Rio Theatre for hosting us, and thank you all for coming out here and watching us air our dirty laundry yet again.
So much dirty laundry. Thank
you.
you again
Thank
to Alicia and
you.
Rachel.
Thank you.
And come back in about 15 minutes for the movie. I am so excited.